Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Could I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I appreciate you guys being here. Please let me know where you guys are watching from inside the comment box. Monday, we are getting closer to Alabama versus Florida State. On today's show, we got a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. Of course, we'll go over the injury report for Jam Miller, right, and what it means for Alabama football from the running back perspective going forward. We'll hear from Coach DeBoer at the back end of the show. We'll spin the pinwheel today as well. But let me know where you're coming from inside the comment box so we can get off to a feel-good Monday. Man, you know, look, I think kind of before I get to the meat of the show, which would be about the running backs, I'm excited about the different opportunities for these other running backs to get fed and to kind of showcase their ability against Florida State on the road. We'll look at each side of the coin, as we always do. And, yeah, we'll have fun with it. So, and tell me, do you guys have a good weekend? How was your weekend? Scale 1 to 10. Man, Tyler Henderson. All right, let's see who's up in the house before we go. I got to give some shout outs as we start. Let's see who's up in here. All right, Herman, what's up, man? Always appreciate you. Alyssa, good to see you as well. Max Tooney coming in strong. We got Jeff as well. And we got a full house already up in here. I appreciate it. Chris from New Jersey, Alex Wilder, Ryan Harris Music. Timothy, what's up, my dog? Good to see you, man. Jawan, Kaylin DeBoer. Jordan Roberts, what's up, man? Nicole Covington, good to see you. Mindy Miss Careless. Jason on the drums. 1311, what's up? Michael Clifton, good to see you, dog. Jeffrey, Frank Daniel, Tyler Watson coming to us from Clyde, Texas. What's up, Sean? All right, we got Marcus, right? You changed the username on us. You thought that would slip past me, but it didn't. Dan Caraway, what's up, man? Kaylin Childress, good to see you. Jason Duff, man, good. What's up, man? He's asking, like, he's ready for the tailgate. Where the party at? Justice Martin, Ruben Poole. All right, Roll Tide from the Rocket City. What's up, Darren? Man, I hope you guys had a really good weekend. In the news, as we get the show going, right, we got today's raffle. All right, we'll spin it at the back end of the show. I think because I'm feeling, you know, we had a really good turnout for this raffle. I think what we'll do is we'll spin the raffle twice. So we'll have 2 winners today. All right, so we'll have 2 winners for this. And if you win the raffle, of course, you can get it in Krypton or white. So at the end of the show, we'll do 2 winners. We'll do 2 pinwheels. So your chance to win a t-shirt. You know, stay tuned. All right, in the news. All right, you see this? Meat Church fed the football team. That's Matt Pittman, right? Barbecue Pitmaster, right? Most notably feeds the Dallas Cowboys. It came over to the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's your boy Ryan Williams. You know what? I really like this hat up here that this gentleman has, man. This is a tie hat, and I actually like this hoodie that Ryan Williams has, the Hollywood. Actually, even this young man, I never seen this hat before. All right, so Meat Church fed the team. You also had your boy cooking some ceviche. I told you, you know, I talk about ceviche frequently. So I made a video. If you haven't seen it, I discuss Alabama's season as I think it could play out. It's another prediction video. There's many of them out there, but I put it together. It's important. Please note, when you make the ceviche, all right, it's a summer dish. It's best served cold. All this, I got literally all this from Walmart, and it was like $15, and it was absolutely delicious. So if you're out there, look for it inside the video section. And yeah, I got the Los Pollos Hermanos apron. My son got me that. I'm a Breaking Bad fan. You know, Breaking Bad took place in Albuquerque, right? So that's kind of the time. That's my apron. That's what I wear. Did you see this? The BMW Championship, Scotty Scheffler. The dude on the 71st hole, okay, has a chip-in birdie. You want to talk about ice cold? One of the best, maybe the best to ever do it, right? The purse was $20 million. He walks away with nearly $4 million. That was a $4 million chip-in bird, all right? Man, that was crazy. The ending was remarkable. Scheffler walking away with a major trophy. man, absolutely on fire. Yo, did you see this? Our boy John Mechie. You know, I still see from time to time that clip of John Mechie burying that dude from Florida. That was probably, honestly, look, Reuben Foster had some ridiculous hits during his tenure at Alabama. But I'm serious. One of the biggest hits that I've ever seen in college football, ever, was John Mechie when he put that dude nearly to sleep. That was crazy. I'll never forget it for the rest of my life. Mechie has one hell of a story. He could write a book, man. You know, I'll always remember with Mechie, he grew up in, I mean, he's lived in several places. You know, he grew up, I think, in Guam. I think he lived in Canada, right? I remember kind of during his recruitment, talking about a lot of that stuff. High-level individual. Then he battled, like, leukemia. Man, he's in the NFL. Then he gets traded to the Eagles. Look, the Eagles have figured it out. It's not complicated. Look, you get guys from Alabama, you get guys from Georgia, you're going to be able to win a Super Bowl. Right? So, John Mechie with the Eagles. I'm not mad about that. We got a super chat in here from my boy Alex Wilder. What's up, man? Oh, he says, we're getting to it now. It's awful to see what happened to Jam the Man. But honestly, not worried one bit about the running back room because we are loaded. That opens up the door for everyone to see some buzz. Really excited about Richard Young. Roll Tide. Yeah, I appreciate it, Alex. It's good to rap with you, man. And thank you for your support, bro. You've been an OG. You've been here, man. So I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate all the super chats and all the support right here on Bama Football on YouTube. We'll talk about the running backs here in just 1 minute, man. Coming up next, this following segment, talking about Jam Miller and kind of the running back room, powered by our good friends at Sonic out in West Memphis, Arkansas, Marion, Arkansas, where I-55 and I-40 hit. They've been a strong summer sponsor for us. I appreciate it. These guys have been great. I know there's special someone inside the comment box that is, kind of reached out. I don't have a lot of sponsors. Actually, I just have one sponsor outside of you guys. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Go get a cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper and kick it with the cheese coney. All right. So, the injury report. All right. So I know what is out there. And look, the thing about it is I heard no broken bones, but I think kind of it's always the first to market, right? First to report things said regarding Jam Miller that it was like a broken collarbone, right? Or I heard that there's no broken bones from somebody like really close to the situation. Regardless of what the injury is, I still don't know if there's a definitive timeline, okay? So we know it's an upper body injury. We know that he had surgery that evening. We know that he's out for week 1. Coach Kalen DeBoer said, return yet to be determined, because I don't know if you could really put a benchmark on something like this type of injury, considering, and I thought it was funny, I started talking about the Sports and Science Center here at UA, and someone from Florida State was watching, and they were like, oh, now Alabama has the best Sports and Science Center too? Yes, I know. It must piss people off to think about all the resources that Alabama has at its disposal. That's why I always laugh when people are like, oh, Alabama's broke. No, they're not. You should see this. They just built a specific golf venue for the team, for the golf team. It's like the dopest thing you've ever seen. They have so much money. It's ridiculous, right? I think that, sometimes they're like, yeah, you could play the Poor Me card, but nah. This Sports and Science Center is next level, and it's headlined by one of the pillars of Alabama's football program, which is Jeff Allen. So I'm always, you could see like a 6 to 8 week out there. I don't buy that, because I've seen Jeff Allen bring guys back way ahead of time. Think about this. Jalen Hell, I know, leg injury. It was tragic. I don't even know if that dude would ever properly walk again. The guy's back healthy, catching passes during that second scrimmage. So I'm just saying, this isn't, and it's not like these are world-class athletes. It's not like you or I were injured, right? It's not like we're going to the local, physical therapist to get work done. This is a whole different level that these guys have at their disposal, and rightfully so, because these guys are millionaires, right? They're pros. right? And good morning to everybody that's checking in late. I appreciate you guys. But from what I understand, no broken bones. And the timetable is, I don't know. This is from Coach Kalen DeBoer. I'm sure you saw it. This was an official statement the university sent out yesterday, and says Jam Miller suffered an upper body injury on Saturday's scrimmage and went in for a surgery Saturday evening. Jam should recover fully with a timetable for his return to be determined, as we know, because we can't tell the future, right? And if it even was something with the shoulder, I mean, we've seen guys, I was talking about this weekend, we've seen trivia. Who's a running back in the NFL, one of the greatest, to play with a shoulder injury and still run for over 200 yards in a high-profile game? Does anybody know this running back? Wasn't it a separated shoulder? One of the best. Trivia. That's your trivia question today. Josh Pate, who was at the scrimmage here in Tuscaloosa, right? He says he expects Jam Miller to be ready by SEC play, having an excellent camp, obviously. Good opportunity for the younger guys in the meantime. So, this is the king of college football who is here, who actually picked Alabama to win the SEC championship as well, right? I would imagine that he probably picks Alabama to win the national title. I'd be kind of shocked if he doesn't. I mean, if he has them beating Texas in the championship, who else would beat Alabama? I don't know. I don't know if he's made an announcement on that, but he's very heavy Alabama. Kind of has like the biggest Alabama channel that there is, to be honest, right? I know he makes frequent stops here in Tuscaloosa, just on fire, does one hell of a job. So, all right, you guys got the trivia question. Yeah, it was Emmitt Smith, right? Emmitt Sanders. Can you imagine if Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith were combined? Emmitt Smith. Yeah, that was that game against the Eagles, right? What did he run for? Like 220? Yo, Emmitt Smith, and I don't like the Cowboys. I don't like anything with the Cowboys, but I respect the play of high-level players. Emmitt Smith was a dog on dogs, man. You imagine running with a hurt shoulder and racking up, what was the total yardage? Someone look this up. Is it like 220, 230? Jeff Stapleton says Jam has a dislocated shoulder. It's not a broken bone. I know, but I think there was somebody out there that got first to market that was like, it's a broken bone. I heard it wasn't a broken bone, so who knows? All right, so here's a look at the running back room. I'll go full screen. All right, to kind of paint the picture. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about, I really spent some good time with this next segment. I hope you guys like it. I'm going to talk about the running backs with Jam out, right, for this first game, and how I think that each of these running backs could be utilized against Florida State, okay? So let's start from the left. You got your boy Jam Miller, right, who's out. You got Richard Young, who I think clearly would be elevated to running back one. Thumbs up if you're excited about Richard Young. Seriously, inside the comment box, if you're excited to see some opportunities for Richard Young, thumbs up inside the comment box. Or how about Daniel Hill? And Dre Washington, okay? And I'm going to talk about each of those running backs. And clearly, if there's, who knows, I can't tell the future. I don't know the rep distribution, but you also have Kevin Riley and A.K. Deere, a part of the crew. Oh, Sean's a Cowboy fan. Man, 49ers and Cowboys don't like each other, dog. You know how that is. Oh, man, they've had some battles. All right, so first running back we're going to go over is Richard Young. Okay, if you play NCAA football, the video game, this guy is a menace. Menace to society. Anyone seen that? 5'11", 211 pounds. He's a redshirt sophomore, played in 7 games during the 2024 season. He had 27 rushes for 146 yards. He's a power runner with some good speed, right? I'm thinking about this, though. This is the one thing that I want to just watch over the next 2 weeks, even into game 1, game 2, game 3. I think one of the things that was not emphasized enough when we talk about Jam Miller's game is his pass protection. And sometimes we overlook that when we're talking about the running backs, right? We're like, yeah, can this guy hit holes? Is he a downhill runner? Does he have power? Does he have speed? How is the running back in pass protection? I don't think we've seen a lot of opportunities from Richard Young in that situation, right? So, look, I want to talk about each side of the coin here, okay? Is Richard Young capable of doing damage? 100%. But he's got to be able to block a quarterback who's never started in a game like this, right? You got to think about Richard Young, and he has limited experience. Now, these are opportunities for growth, but, you know, this is a big stage. I get it. When you're an Alabama football fan, you already won the game against Florida State. The way that you see Florida State, you see them as less than, right? You think that Florida State is the same team as last year. I want to wake you up and tell you that they are not. I don't want to try to scare you. Florida State retooled. They have a 3-3-5 defense. They have Tony White as their defensive coordinator. I'm telling you, I don't think you'll just go into this game. This isn't a walk in the park by any stretch of the imagination. Look, this is serious. Game 1 is serious. So Richard Young, this is a big opportunity. I'm curious, even because of this, to see what happens with the line. 13.5 last week. I'm curious to see if it slides just a little bit. Jam Miller's he's that guy. But Richard Young, I believe in him. This is how I feel that Richard Young will be utilized. I kind of go back to that game against Missouri, right? And one of the things that you'll see with Richard Young, this was a hell of a play that he made last year, right? This is basically just a mesh with the running back. And what he's going to do, I can't show the actual play because of copyright, but I can walk you through what happened here. So you remember this. You got your quarterback. You know who that was. It was Ty Simpson. You got, guess who? Richard Young back there. Well, those two are starting against Florida State. There's some experience for you, right? Shadow of your own end zone. Love this play. You hand off to Richard Young, and what Richard Young does is he's a very north and south runner, but he's got a little bit of shake to him. And on this particular play, once he kind of gets to that second level, he's able to make this safety miss with a nice cut, right? But I do wonder about his top end speed because he was caught on this play. Now, I have no idea. We're going to have to, see overall his top end speed. But my point is he's a very downhill runner. And I think he's got a little bit of shake to him and some power. In fact, I kind of go back to watching Richard Young. You remember Jeremiah Alexander? This was before this fake, this spring game or practice or whatever that we had. It wasn't it for me. But the year before, when we actually had a spring game, you go back and watch it. Richard Young put Jeremiah Alexander on the turf not once but twice. He's a very powerful running back. He's got a little bit of shake to him. Very capable. So Alabama's going to feed him, and I think he'll run between the tackles just fine. 100%. So I think he'll be an all-purpose type back. And I don't know how well he catches the football. I would imagine that's kind of a prerequisite for the running back position. Because Jam Miller, he can catch the football. Right? Very good out of the backfield. We're down on a wheel route. Jam Miller could catch. All right, next up you got Daniel Hill. Okay? Thumbs up if you're excited for Daniel Hill. I am. All right, look, the size alone, and I think I have him down as 244 right here. He might be bigger than that. Has anybody heard that he's 250? I actually have. I've heard that he's over 250 pounds. Okay. He's a sophomore. Last season had 21 rushes for 61 yards. He's a bulldozer. Okay. But he's got some speed to him. I'm serious. Type in this on your free time. Okay. Daniel Hill highlights 2024 season. I did all this morning, okay? Just to kind of refresh. I think where they utilized Daniel Hill, and this is last year, this was the first game that he got to play against Western Kentucky. He scored a touchdown on this particular play. And all they did, and guess who was at quarterback? Once again, Ty Simpson. So it's kind of cool. Ty Simpson has played with all these guys in actual game situations, right? All he does right here is hand the ball off to Daniel Hill, and Daniel Hill basically gets hit right here, but then is able to have enough power to kind of drive over the goal line. So I think Daniel Hill clearly will be utilized in this situation. And what I'm painting is, I have no idea, what the game plan is, but I think you have 3 different backs to be able to facilitate still a running game against Florida State, right? And you've seen the photos of this dude. This dude is absolutely jacked. You're like, my goodness, that's a running back? Yeah, that's kind of the standard over here. Like, you ain't 220, step aside, boy. Like, these are men, like these are NFL type backs, okay? But I started looking at more Daniel Hill. He's actually got sleeper speed on him. And can you imagine just kind of a 10 doses of a 250-pound running back? See, Riz heard 252. That's what I heard. Oh, someone said 255. I'm serious. You imagine 10 doses of Daniel Hill? I don't care what middle linebackers out there having to deal with a 250-pound running back maybe 10 times, or I don't know, goal line. Yo, that's gonna wear on you. So this particular play, he runs upfield and he gets more than 10. The guy has, I'm telling you, he has sleeper speed for being that big. I think the biggest running backs that we've had here, I think Eddie Lacy was like close to like 260. And then I think Eddie Lacy was like 263 or something like that, which is crazy. Daniel Hill's a big boy. Just, not a lot of experience. Again, pass protection. How are these guys in pass protection? I have no idea. All right, next up. This is interesting. Write this down. Dre Washington, right? Came over from Louisiana. 5'9", 216 pounds. Yo, that's just a bowling ball. He's a redshirt senior. He actually has the most experience outside of Jam Miller within this running back room, okay? 229 carries during his career at Louisiana, 1,300 yards. Doesn't have a high volume of touchdowns. Speed, power, a little bit of shift. Again, I have no idea about pass protection. But time and time again, when you watch his highlights, it's just this same particular play right here. Basically a mesh, gets up, he has really good vision. I don't know how fast he is. He kind of, to me, to be 100% honest, looking at the film of each of these running backs, Richard Young, Daniel Hill, and Dre Washington, I don't see elite, exceptional speed from any of them, okay? With that said, each of those running backs is very good about running between the tackles. Each of those running backs has really good north and south speed, right? If you're a gasher and kind of wear the defense down, you have 3 running backs that can 100% do that. And do you need a running back that's an absolute speed back? None of these guys are Jahmyr Gibbs, okay? Nobody is. Jahmyr Gibbs was crazy fast. He still is. By the way, pick him up on your fantasy football team if you can. That dude's a menace. He's just slicing up the NFL. All right, so the kind of, going over the running backs that I think will get fed the most versus Florida State, the big 3, Richard Young, Daniel Hill, Dre Washington. You have really good downhill runners, right? You have power runners and guys that can effectively move the chains. So you got the speed guys on the outside. You have, one of the faster quarterbacks in college football. Yes, I said that. Ty can run. And then overall, here's the running back room. I don't know, how many distributions all these guys get. I would imagine this is probably your fastest back, Kevin Riley. I have no idea. And then you got AK Deer in there as well, right? Raffle at the back end of the show, Brandon. Hacker Music says Eddie Lacy weighed 230 at Bama. Okay. And then NFL 260. Was there anyone that weighed more than Daniel Hill at Bama? I appreciate that, Hacker Music. Thanks for the update, bro. So, look, I'm sure you're not shocked, and if you're a Florida State fan out there watching, you're probably not shocked or surprised that Alabama has this type of depth at running back. And you need this type of depth at running back, receiver. It's a grind of a season. You're talking about 16 games, right? You're talking about nearly 25 weeks of football. Man, Alabama has depth at running back. So how long? I think the biggest question is how long will Jam Miller be out? I don't know. I would imagine, listening to Pay and Coach Kalen DeBoer didn't really put a timetable on it. I heard from somebody be ready by Georgia. That pairs up with what Pate heard. So let's just take it as it comes and get these running backs. And sometimes it's kind of, things are like blessing in disguises, right? Because none of these other running backs really had a lot of experience. So kind of a good opportunity for these guys to get volume in the first couple games of the season, right? All right, Darren says the King, I'm just going to refer to him as the King. You know who I'm talking about. Was 247. I'm still, if Derrick Henry's on the board still in fantasy football, I'm taking him 100%. I don't know if he runs for 2,000 yards again, but he might. What were the Titans thinking letting him go? Did they think like he had no miles left? God. All right, this is a raffle. We'll do it at the back in the show. I think I'm going to do it. I've decided to do it twice, okay? From all the support that we got. And you can get this in crimson or white. So we'll spin it once. We got one winner. Then we'll spin it again. Another winner, all right? Couple notes from the scrimmage. And then after this, we'll hear from Coach Kalen DeBoer for a little while as well, his press conference following the scrimmage. I'll just point out a couple things that made my ears perk up. But we continue to hear great things about Ty Simpson. I think someone said he was 14 of 15, not 15 of 16. So either way, what we're seeing is a continuation of Ty Simpson being very efficient with the football, okay? Now, Coach Kalen DeBoer said there wasn't as many explosive plays in this particular scrimmage, but he did have a long touchdown run. I think, in fact, that was the play that Jam Miller got hurt on. So he had a long touchdown run. So again, it shows his athletic ability. And Coach Kalen DeBoer, as you'll hear in a minute, says, look, he's an athlete. And I think teams will learn that this season. I've been saying that for a long time. I guess the only incompletion was like a drop touchdown or something like that. And then limited mistakes. That's what we want from our quarterback. We don't, and look, I don't know really how to phrase this, because I don't think that Ty Simpson is a game manager. But like, I also want to say that Ty Simpson doesn't just have to save the day. I think Ty Simpson just has to be who he is, the quarterback, and facilitate the offense and take care of the football. But I don't think he's a game manager. I really don't. I think he's an athlete that can make plays. And we'll find out. But I really don't. I really wouldn't consider Ty Simpson like just a game manager. I think that I have to think about how to say this, but like Gunnar Stockton, to me, in my opinion, for Georgia, he's kind of a game manager, right? But I think Ty Simpson's more of a playmaker, right? Thumbs up if you agree with that. Do you think that Ty Simpson is a game manager, which isn't a knock? Look, game managers can win championships. But I think he's a playmaker. So sound off inside the comment box. Do you think Ty Simpson is a playmaker or a game manager? And that is not like a negative if you list him as a game manager, right? Because there's guys who just manage things, take care of the football, do what coach asks, make good decisions. I'm curious to see what you guys say on Ty. Let's see what Dylan has to say. Dylan, what's up, man? He said he threw a 35-yard touchdown to Hollywood and a rushing touchdown. 14 to 15 in that secondary may be the best. Yeah, and that's another good point. Dylan, I appreciate the stats, bro. You look at, I don't think this is a knock on the secondary. Think about this. This is Ryan Grubb coming in and working with the quarterback and having that quarterback execute at a very high level. So, yeah, look, because if you're going to beat Alabama this year, I don't think you're going to pass over them. I think you're still going to challenge them, as we talk about all the time, on the run game, right? Good detail, Dylan. Appreciate it, bro. Hacker Music chimes in and he says this: nothing wrong with being a game manager, but I wouldn't consider Ty only a game manager. Yeah, same with me. I think he's more of a playmaker. Paul says this. What's up, Paul? Good to see you, bro. Hope you're having a good start to your Monday. I had to check what day it was. He'll be a game manager with some play calls for a QB run. All right. Tyler says he heard it was an AC joint. I think you're referring to our boy Jan Miller. And Big Homie 60 says, yo, he's a game manager until I see otherwise. That's fair. I like it. Kyle, do you think he could be our Sensen Bennett? Oh, interesting. What do you guys think about that? Jeff Stapleton says he's a playmaker that will make defenses look silly. Yeah, I was thinking about it. And Brandon chimes in and says Garrett Nussmeier is a game manager. All right. Hey, no filters. What's up, bro? Good to see you. Jawan didn't like the Stenson Bennett. All right. What else did we hear from the scrimmage? You also heard that, of course, the quarterbacks are coming along, right? Coach Kalen DeBoer was complimentary of each of the quarterbacks, which is something great that we want to hear. They're all coming along, developing. I love this update that Jalen Hell looked good at practice. I mean, what a story. It's just like such a blessing that dude's back, and he's a monster. I know there's a lot of guys to talk about in the receivers, but you know it'll break the stadium if Jalen Hell, if he makes like a big play, if that dude catches like a touchdown, if that dude gets into open space or something like that. Can you imagine how crazy we're gonna go if Jalen Hell puts one in the end zone? Man, we might have tears in our eyes. This is the scariest thing though. Okay, let's stop the music. All right. Let's talk. Let's be real here, okay? The kicking game. I heard that there was some kicking woes at the scrimmage. I've said this even before like the season. You have heard. I think Greg McElroy said he had kind of questions about it. Look, I am used to. These are the kickers that I've covered since being a part of, Bama football over the last 10 seasons. Joseph Bolivas, Andy Papanastis, and then Will Riker, and then Graham Nicholson, right? I think those are the kickers. There might have been somebody else that I missed. Will Riker alleviated a lot of anxiety that Alabama football fans had from the past because you always had an elite offense, right? An elite defense, but the kicking game, specifically like field goal kickers, was always something that was kind of off. I don't want that to be the case this year. And I wonder, you look to kind of pitfalls this season, if that could be a pitfall. Because there's some very difficult games on the road, as you know, where you're going to need your kicker to be 100%. So we've seen kind of some struggles before, but until we actually see this guy kick, we're not going to know. I think playing on the road in week one, you know how kickers are. Look, I don't care what kicker you are. If you played the sport, if you know kickers, they're all kind of like, live in their head, right? It's hard for a kicker to kind of have next play mentality, even in the NFL, right? It's just kind of how it's always been. Coach Kalen DeBoer did discuss about Blake Dowd being, kind of facilitating that punter role, and then also mentioned maybe Rico Scott as a returner, which kind of made my ears perk up considering that he was clocked running, 23.5 miles an hour. So is there kicking concerns at this point? Yeah, there are. And I think that that's something that we're going to watch, and I think hopefully that improves before the season, okay? A couple more notes, and then we'll play a couple sound bites from Kalen DeBoer, and then at the end, we'll spin the pinwheel. So the defense, I hear it's where it needs to be. I heard it was Deontay Lawson that made a big hit, but then someone inside the comment box said it was Justin Jefferson. Whether it was Jefferson or whether Deontay Lawson, I haven't been able to figure it out. If it was Lawson who made this hit, that's amazing because that tells us he's closer to 100%. If it was Justin Jefferson, I'm still happy because Justin Jefferson is a playmaker. And I'm so thankful that Justin Jefferson is coming back. So I don't know. Let's just say a middle linebacker made a really big hit on the day. Heard amazing things about Dejoun Lee. This guy, you've heard it. These freshmen here at Bama don't play. Is Dejoun Lee the top freshman at Bama right now? Yeah, he is. And you have an amazing quarterback in development. You have Lazier Brooks, who I think is back. from his whatever, foot injury. But Dejon Lee don't play, man. It's going to be hard, I would imagine, for the coaches to keep him off the field. They're not going to keep him off the field. I think they'll give him opportunities, and I think he's ready to play immediately. That's just the way it's going to be. Okay. Defense overall trending the right way, and I've said it a million different times, right? The defense has to be ready to be able to stop the run. Let me get to a couple super chats. Yeah, I see them, Patriot Life. I was just kind of I was cooking there for a minute, so we got a couple of super chats that we had to go over. We got Dan Caraway. What's up, man? Appreciate you with the $10 spot. Thank you so much. And then we got Patriot Life. What's up, Patriot Life? Coming to us from Chattanooga. Says, good morning, Kyle, and the undefeated get well soon, Jam Miller. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, Patriot Life, you got to put on your Ty Simpson jersey as your avatar once we get ready to roll into the season, right? And then we got Wade's World. What's up, man? Can we give big congrats to Dylan Lonergan? There's a lot of quarterbacks. Can you guys list all the quarterbacks that are now starting for other programs, right? Let's see. Dylan Lonergan, Boston College, Eli Holsting, Pittsburgh, Julian Sain. Has Julian Sain been named the starter at Ohio State? Is that official? I saw Tennessee announced that Joey Aguilar was their starter. I was like, yeah, and they're going to announce that Josh Heupel is their head coach. I was like, we already knew that. I love when, they say it's like a quarterback when we already know who the quarterback is. That's kind of what happened over here. Thanks for the super chat, though, dog. And then we got Ethan says, I have the same feeling I had in 2020. And we know how that turned out. Jesus loves you all, and I love you. Roll Tide, roll. Thank you, Ethan. I appreciate you, man. Ethan Wilson. I got you, man. And look, the usernames have changed, but you still the same people. I have no idea what happened with the usernames. Let's see if I had anything else before we get to Coach Kalen DeBoer. All right, I'll play a couple of sound bites real quick from Kalen DeBoer, and then we'll spin the pinwheel. So here's Kalen DeBoer taking questions from the media. I've kind of moved past the opening statement, and I went right into questions. If you can't hear the question, I'll reiterate the question so you could hear, but I think this first question, he is talking about the special teams. So you start out with Coach Kalen DeBoer addressing the special teams performance in the second scrimmage.
Coach, let's start with special teams. How would you evaluate Connor Talty, Alex Asparuhov, and Blake Dowd's performance today, and where you're standing with the new specialists?
I think punting-wise, Blake's done a really nice job. Last scrimmage, I thought was I shouldn't say scrimmage. Last Saturday here was really the best day I'd seen him have. I think he continued to have a really good week. And then today, came out and in our drill work, we didn't get as many punts in the scrimmage, working into the scrimmage that I was hoping to. I think we were probably 2 or 3 less than what I was looking for with a partial script of what we wanted to get done. But he's had a really good 8 days. I think Alex continues to get better and push. Just with his injury that he had, he's so far ahead of schedule with his recovery. And so now he's really getting into that rhythm and showing a lot of improvement there. And then Connor's done a really good job on campus in the complex. Last week he missed, I'm not sure what it was, but we got to just keep getting work in the stadium here. He missed a couple today. So from a field goal standpoint, the ones further out, probably 38 to 44, somewhere in there, between a couple of those. So we got to keep getting him to work. Was disappointed that he didn't hit them all, because he's done a nice job in our practices, and we've been working that every day with him being new and that whole unit being new. So we got to keep working.
Jump on the far left of the slot.
All right, that's Coach Kalen DeBoer talking about the special teams. In fact, I just asked about Julian Sain. That literally just came in. Bruce Feldman is announcing that, or reporting that Julian Sain has officially been named the starter at Ohio State, right? Another former quarterback that was here for what was he here for, like a month or whatever? The takeaways for me regarding the special teams, Blake Dowd doing a great job as punter. He's taking over for a very good punter in James Burnup, right? James Burnup was fantastic at punting. And then you also have the update about Alex Osprov, who's another punter. And one thing that made my ears perk up about that is, what did he say? The injury that he had, I forget what the injury was, but he's well ahead of progress. So, like, that just tells you how fast they're able to get these guys ahead of schedule. And so, like 6 to 8 for us is like 1 to 3 for them. It's different, 100%. And then, regarding Connor Talty, and it sounds like he's had success at practice, but that hasn't translated to the scrimmage, which is a little bit even more concerning, considering, yeah, you could do it at practice, but is this kind of a nerves thing? Look. Let's just wait for it to see it play out. But the punter, the kicker, you have a new snapper as well. There's a lot going on with that special teams unit. We continue with Coach Kalen DeBoer following Alabama's second scrimmage.
Rolling, Nick.
Yeah, Jaden Roberts, what's his availability right now, and are you anticipating him being ready for week 1?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that right off the bat. 2 guys that didn't scrimmage today, Jaden and James, same as last week. James is actually starting with him. James has been working through and building up. Feel good about the progress he's had in the week of practice, and with it being live, needed to hold back there, but he's getting closer by the day. Jaden has a concussion, just tell you what it is, and he's going through the protocol of that, and so hasn't done anything from a team standpoint, starting to work back into that protocol, which included being out there today but not participating in the scrimmage.
So, but he never mentioned Jam Miller within that particular press conference. Coaches, say things at different times, whatever. He did come back later and put out a statement regarding Jam Miller. But with Jaden Roberts' concussion, you're going to be able to come back from that. Clearly, you just got to go through the protocol. So that's better than it being like a, leg or a hand. And hopefully he's 100% concussion-wise. I mean, how serious is that, right? Going into that game against week 1, but I wouldn't rule him out by any stretch of the imagination for the opener. So I think that was a positive update. And then James Smith, another guy who I think is very important within the Alabama defensive line. I don't know what his injury is, but it sounds like he's closer to being 100%. We continue.
Front row on the right to Colin.
Hey, Kalen. This is the first time we've gotten to talk to you since Ty was named the starter. I'm curious of what that timeline looked like for you, why it was the right time, and what you saw out there today from him, kind of.
Yeah. Actually, I hadn't even thought about it. This is the first time since I've seen you guys. We knew we were at that point where we felt good about who should be the starter, and it just made sense after the scrimmage when you evaluated kind of the whole product he's put on the football field. All the quarterbacks I thought came out there again today and did a great job. And that was the same thing as last scrimmage. And I guess specifically, Ty, as you asked today, I thought he came out and executed the offense, just continues to be steady, finds his times to make the plays. And, today he actually used his feet again. And that's, I think, something that people will probably underestimate as we go through the year, just with his ability to make plays and keep plays alive. But I thought he was steady. He was consistent. Probably, kind of looking here, probably a higher completion percentage than what he had last scrimmage. Maybe not quite as explosive. I think that's a tribute to our defense and what they did as well. So good. Both scrimmages for him, and just continue to make the progress. And I think building the team and getting the momentum going when we knew we needed to do it, and that's allowing us to have 3 weeks of prep, building our team for Florida State.
Yeah, I mean, really good update there regarding Alabama's quarterback, Ty Simpson. I think that, the completion percentage is the most exciting part for me, because you want to see a quarterback be able to not only move the football, make plays with his feet, but also just have a high-level completion percentage. And I think that tells you a little bit about Ryan Grubb. He didn't say anything about Ryan Grubb, but I think the schematics of it with Ty Simpson's IQ based on the schematics from Ryan Grubb, I mean, this could be really good. I don't want to get kind of ahead of ourselves, but you do have to get excited about Ty Simpson and Ryan Grubb together and what those guys could do with the weapons that Alabama has, right? And Brandon's like, stop telling people he can run. Yeah, I think, you know what? I don't think that's as big of a secret, but if you look back on the spring games, man, what do you have? There was a couple games. Where was the one where he dropped the football? Was that in the spring game? People never forget about that one. But he's an athlete. I mean, this is a 5-star guy. So he's definitely not a pocket passer. I think people know about that. But they'll find out about his running abilities on their own, and that's coming up.
Next we'll go to Katie on the far right.
Hey, Kaylin, how much does the second scrimmage kind of solidify guys' positions on the field, or are some of those still up for spots in the next 2 weeks of practice?
Yeah, we actually made a big point of that. Just that today was a really important day to get some more film out there for us to evaluate. For there's guys that are still competing, and that's the way it always be. The games will be evaluating as well. And I mean, there's some competitions that are very close, and there's some guys that you're trying to work different combinations, the what ifs down the road. But yeah, today was a big it was a big part of us understanding what we got, individually and collectively.
Staying up the middle, we'll go to Alex. Oh, you didn't have one? I'm sorry. Go far right then, please. My apologies.
Got put on the spot there, Alex.
Who stood out in the secondary today from what you saw, and just what have you seen from that unit as a whole?
Oh, yeah, good question. There's so much that I'm watching. I couldn't tell you exactly who had maybe the most tackles or anything. I thought the defense today in the secondary did a really good job of making sure that they were getting the guys on the ground. I think we still didn't get the picks we're trying to get, in force. But I know that we're getting close, and we had a couple, this week, and you can see the momentum building for those guys. It's hard to single any one guy out. I thought there was a number of guys that did a nice job. So the guys you'd expect are really the guys that are producing.
And I think with that said, I mean, he might be holding a couple things like close to the vest, probably not, saying a lot about Dejon Lee. But I mean, I think you guys heard, and so did I, that he had a really strong performance, which isn't surprising. I mean, he did very well during the springtime. Your starters are Xavier Brown, who has a lot of experience starting all of last year, and Damani Jackson. And then, we know that Bray Hubbard, right, and Keon Sabb, those guys are in the back, but I really would like to I can't wait, just as you guys are excited to see Ryan Grubb call the offense, I can't wait to see more of Bray Hubbard and just more volumes of him over the course of the year because, man, the defense just played more confident when he was in the game. Compound that with all the returners. That's why I'm saying, I'm going to be completely shocked if we go into the Sunday after Florida State and it's like, the headline reads, Tommy Castellanos threw for 330 yards against Alabama's secondary, right? That just seems like something that just won't happen at all. I think the ground game is the one that you have to tighten up on. But, man, that secondary, I think they're going to be fantastic, despite not having the picks against Tide. Again, that could be schematics. Who knows? Maybe there's a couple checkdowns, whatever it is. But Coach Kalen DeBoer seemed continue to be happy about the secondary. And I think that, to be honest, that secondary is probably going to be one of the better secondaries in the entire country.
Far back left to Chase.
Last week, after the first scrimmage, you said that the offense did a good job with ball security and pass protection. It sounds like they did well again with ball security. Is that the case? And also, what about the pass pro?
Mm-hmm. They did. We had one ball that was competitive that I think was called a turnover. Probably would have been on the review if it was a real game to see if it was completed and then forced a fumble. But I think the pass protection is consistent, solid. I think the key is for the quarterbacks that they drop back and they are comfortable with what is going to happen, and that they aren't wondering, man, this guy, I just never know. I never feel good about the right guard, right tackle, or whatever it might be. These guys, I think, when they drop back, and you're talking about all three quarterbacks, they drop back. I think they feel like, number one, the job's going to, the responsibility is going to be there, and number two, the production and giving them some time to work. You're not going to have all day, right? At this level, there's too many good pass rushers that you're going to have. But I think it's consistent. It's allowing the quarterbacks to feel good about keeping their eyes downfield. They're not worried about who's going to get beat. So I think across the board, the one-on-ones, they're doing a pretty good job. And then just schematically, I think I always do a good job of trying to help out, where we need to.
I saw this comment inside the comment box. We're listening to Coach Kalen DeBoer following Alabama's second scrimmage. What's up, Ty? Appreciate you being here. He says, Alabama fans getting soft. No way in hell you could be tell me 10 years ago that Alabama would be this worried about Florida State. Look, I think that you have to be realistic with week one in college football, because what we learned last year is that everything that we knew about college football completely changed with transfer portal, with NIL, right? It changed it was like instant change. So, and that's why I get, you look to like last year's loss against Vanderbilt. People are like, oh, Vanderbilt hadn't won since like the 70s or the 80s. That wasn't the same Vanderbilt team at all, with all the acquisitions that they had made, with all the money that they had poured in to be able to pay the players. They bought that team. And Florida State loaded up on a lot of guys. So I'm not here to like spread fear, but it's more like a reality and a reality check going into Florida State. I mean, they have Squirrel White, wide receiver. You guys know about him, right? Transferred in. You got Deuce Robinson, who's like, 6'6". They got Elijah Moore, who's 6'4". They got Roydell Williams at running back. They have another really good running back. I know Tommy Castellanos has thrown a lot of interceptions, but he is a capable quarterback, running around or whatever. You got Gus Malzahn as our offensive coordinator. You got Tony White as a defensive coordinator. Earl Little Jr., remember, he transferred over there. Looks like he's making waves in their secondary. So, look, I have no idea about, I think first week games, they provide a little bit to the story, but even if you bet on college football, I'd probably advise against that up until you get to like the midway point, because week one games, who the hell knows? So Alabama certainly should be the favorite. I am taking Alabama by 2 touchdowns at Doak Campbell. I think Ryan Grubb and kind of the playmaking abilities of the offense will be the difference in the second half. But who knows? I mean, they didn't play well on the road, most of their games last year. And last year isn't this year. But I don't know. Doak Campbell is not going to be just a walk in the park. I think it's Division I football, and Florida State, this is an opportunity for them to resurrect their program, because the wheels basically fell off last year. We continue with Coach Kalen DeBoer.
Stay on the far left, Matt.
What do you think of the penalties that came out yesterday for the Michigan sign stealing stuff? Obviously, you played them in that 23 season.
I don't know anything about it. I honestly don't. I don't know what they got. I didn't read it. I don't know. So I haven't even heard about it. So you can tell me you're not going to respond, I guess.
I think they estimated a $20 million fine, and Sharon Moore got an extra game suspension, and then some people got show causes and other stuff.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how in comparison to other issues that we've had over the years, how that relates, but it is what it is. I don't have too much of a response, I guess.
Yeah, and with that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Dave Portnoy, for Barstool, said that $20 million is basically like a drop in the bucket for them. And they're, what did he say? He said it's ashtray money. The amount of money that these college programs has, like $20 million, is really not a lot. I just read, I think it was in AL.com, put out Alabama's putting $13 million, right, ashtray money, into new Wi-Fi at the stadium. So these are billion-dollar programs. So yeah, a fine of $20 million, it might make people's ears perk up, but I don't think that's gonna play a huge role in anything that is like stopping Michigan's program from recruiting or paying their players. It's like he said, it's ashtray money. I think it'd be the same thing, honestly, to Alabama. These programs are billion-dollar programs.
Far back right, Travion.
Hey, Coach, circling back to special teams, can you just talk about the guys that you have back there on kick return and punt return, and is there an ideal guy or by committee sort of thing? Can you just elaborate on that if you can?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't decided on who the starter will be back there. Guys that did a good job a year ago. We got Cole back there, really in both. And he started out as our punt returner a year ago, and he's done a nice job just being steady. And then I think new faces. You got Rico, probably kickoff return. Can do some things back there for us. And then Bach, in both areas as well. He and Cole really, I think, can do both and provide a combination of just consistency with fielding it and then some explosiveness there. So I would start with those guys. There's more. Ryan had great experience there last year. Had a couple explosive plays. Got thrown into action there when Bach went down through the season. And so, I would have 100% confident having Jeremy Bernard set back there to field punts and things like that. But, that's kind of the nuts and bolts of kind of who we'd put back there.
Yeah, I like that. Here's what I'd like to see Alabama do is Cole, right? He's got a lot of experience. He was very steady when returning punts, and he does have a lot of shaking, that shake and bake back there that you want as a punt returner, and he's really fast. Rico Scott, maybe your kick returner, because it seems like he's one of the faster players on the team. Jalen Mbakwe, I think he's just a playmaker, period. You got to get the ball to playmakers. Give them opportunities to make plays, whether that's punt returning, kick returning. I think he can do it all. But I would like to see this, and I know there was a lot of people out there that didn't really like to see Ryan Williams returning punts. I don't want Ryan Williams returning punts in the first quarter. I don't want him returning punts against Louisiana Monroe. I want Ryan Williams to return punts in big game situations because there's nobody like Ryan Williams. Okay, there's nobody like Hollywood. Maybe you need some momentum. Maybe the game's tied. That's when you put in a player like Ryan Williams because, let's face it, when that guy has the football, nobody breathes, period. And let's say you're on the road against Georgia. Maybe Georgia's up by a field goal. Maybe Alabama's up. Maybe it's tied. Who knows? You put Ryan Williams back there, a punt, he returns it 50 yards, maybe he breaks one. It's like game, set, match. That's how impactful that could be. So Ryan Williams in those situations, and then it sounds like Jeremy Bernard could be a punt returner as well. There's so many guys, that they have to put in those particular areas. But I don't want Ryan Williams doing anything unless you need game-changing play, late game situations, big-time SEC play. That's when you just be like, yo, put in Hollywood, let him do his thing.
Front row and middle, Kirk.
Yes, coaches. Do you break this as the end of the second scrimmage as sort of a plateau, and along with that, getting here without too many injuries, I guess, probably be a good thing.
Yeah. I think
I don't know if the reporter right here was asking him basically like, was Jam Miller hurt at practice? Because I think they knew he was hurt, but I think, like Kay said, maybe he was waiting for like the full diagnosis to even talk about it. But I thought that was interesting. Here's what Coach Kalen DeBoer had to say on that.
We're in a spot now, and are you kind of saying the end of fall camp? Is that kind of what you're asking? Today, yeah. I think that will continue a little bit into Tuesday. Really, school starts Wednesday, and that'll be the next thing, So our normal camp schedule, other than, just because of how it works out, we won't practice tomorrow or Monday, but Tuesday will be like a normal camp schedule. So can't really do that once school starts. We'll have a good practice even on the weekend, Saturday next week. Try to get back here is the kind of the plan as of right now. But I think injury-wise, there's a lot of guys that got, that are beat up a little bit. But it's something that it was going to happen if you were going to be physical at all during camp, and we still have 2 weeks left. So the next couple of days, it's set up specifically for that reason, to be able to get these guys off their feet, recover a little bit, and then we'll certainly have a different type of week. We'll still have physicality, especially Tuesday. We'll get back after it, but it will look different. Like I said, we went hard last Saturday with a big scrimmage today, but also Tuesday and Thursday we did a number of live sessions moving the ball, just like you'd have seen out here today.
All right, let's finish up with Will on the right side.
Coach, you kind of alluded to it in your opening. It's definitely that time of year here in Tuscaloosa, weather-wise. Was the scrimmage start time today maybe meant to simulate some of what you'll be experiencing in Tallahassee in a couple of weeks? Yeah,
100%. We actually had it originally scheduled earlier, moved it back just to get a little more heat, and it's good for us. We even conditioned at the end, did some extra work, and so just trying to get ready in every way possible.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, that was Coach Kalen DeBoer at the podium following Alabama's second scrimmage. So that's where we're at right now. And if you're just joining us, we did go over kind of a couple different points regarding Alabama's running back room. I'll show it one more time for those of you that might join in late, but you could always go back and watch it on the rewatch. This is where we're at right now going into this next pivotal week. As Coach Kalen DeBoer said, they are off today. They will begin practice tomorrow. On Tuesday, you'll hear from Ryan Grubb, Kalen DeBoer, and Kane Womack all this week. And then next week, you'll fall into your regular schedule kind of Monday with the press conferences at noon and so forth. But right now, you got Jan Miller out. There's no definitive timeline. I think, people in the know have said back by that Georgia game. So that's kind of a time window, but I wouldn't count anything out with Jeff Allen and his sports and medicine staff. Richard Young looks to be elevated to running back number 1. We talked about a lot of positives about Richard Young, but we did caution, how is he in pass protection? And he's never started a game, right? Just limited experience. Daniel Hill talked about him kind of being that bell cow, the big-time running back. We mentioned he might be 255 pounds. It's kind of the word. And then Draylen Washington, the transfer from Louisiana, has 1,300 career yards. He's a transfer in, 5'9", 220 pounds. Looks good running between the tackles as well. And then you got guys in development who are also, clearly talented. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. Kevin Riley, right out of the Tuscaloosa County, and A.K. Deere, who's in his freshman year. So that's where we're at from a running back perspective. Don't go away. We will be right back. I'm going to spin the pinwheel 2 times today because we got a good volume of people that jumped in the raffle. That's coming up right now on Bama Football on YouTube. Don't go anywhere. Be right back with the pinwheel, all right?
Hey fans, now is the perfect time to subscribe to Bama Football on YouTube every day live at 10 a.m. Central Time. Also check out our Ceviche video where Kyle breaks down Alabama's schedule from the first game to the end of the season. Like, subscribe. We'll be back in just a minute with the pinwheel. Roll damn Tide. Is your Auburn friend bothering you? Simply send him last year's results and remind him that they live at a barn. We'll be back in 2 seconds right here on Bama Football on YouTube.
Family, welcome to Bama Football on YouTube, where we spin the pinwheel, we raffle off, whether that's football tickets. Today we're doing a t-shirt right here, so I appreciate everybody get in. We've never done this before. You can get this shirt in crimson or white. It's the old Alabama logo. You can get this from Team Fanatics. I'm not sponsored by literally anybody, so if you want to be a sponsor, hit me up inside the comment box as well. The channel's kind of big. Just saying, just kidding. If you want my ceviche recipe, definitely watch that video. We're going to spin the pinwheel twice, all right? So we're going to do 2 winners today. We got a lot of volume. So with that said, let's get on with the first winner. If you win, all right, it's so important that you you hit the email, all right, to Bama Football on YouTube. Let me see, 1 second. So it's really important that you hit me up to an email. Give me 1 second. Let me get, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. All right, yeah, we're good. Everybody, you're locked in. You guys ready? All right, with the first one, here we go. 3, 2. All right, we're doing it 2 times. 3, 2, 1. First one, here we go. Pinwheel, who's it gonna be for the first one? Ah! All right, Miss Erin Michelle. Erin Michelle, please hit me up. She got in yesterday. She said that she's been a long-time follower. All right, Erin Michelle, that's number 1. All right, you guys ready for number 2? Ethan says hit the thumbs up. Remember, email me, nmpreps@gmail.com. That's that old email that I've had forever, all right? All right, spin number 2. Oh my goodness, who's it gonna be? Ah! Ruben Poole! Ruben Poole, man, strong candidate, man. All right, Ruben Poole. Good win, dog. Ruben Poole, man, Ruben Poole was gone for a little while, and then he came back. So Ruben Poole, you got one, and Miss Erin Michelle. So hit me up, and we'll do another pinwheel probably like on. We'll introduce it tomorrow. I don't know what it is yet. And, we'll continue to rock it. I hope you guys had a really good show. Every show, seriously, done from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for rocking with me. News that happens every day live at 10 a.m. Central Time. Or as news happens, sometimes nightcaps where we kick it. I need to stream my next game against Florida State. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And I hope you guys had a good time kicking it with Kyle right here on Bama Football on YouTube. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on Monday, August 18th, my morning show. Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Stay blessed. Stay where your feet are at. Be grateful for the blessings that are in your life. Roll damn Tide. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I'll see you tonight. I love you, fam. Oh, my goodness.
Bama Football on YouTube. Every day live at 10 a.m. Central Time. Give a roll damn Tide inside the comment box.
We out. See you, fam. I love you guys. I love you guys so much, man. See you. I like to wait till the end of the music.